All right, welcome to another edition of the Big Blue Report featuring that guy, two-time Super Bowl champion, former defensive captain, food truck owner, the best guy in the house, Jonathan Casillas, the Professor Ryan Darlington. I'm Randy Zellea from backsportspage.com. And we are now on to week 2. We'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen. That was a great show because there was not much to be seen here for week 1. And yes, we believe the hype. We believe the hype, and I apologize to Ryan right after the game on Sunday because I was wearing, for the first time in years, I wore a Giant shirt and picked the Giants to win a game, and that's what happens when I do those types of things. The Giants lose. Gents, it was a very, very interesting Sunday afternoon, but before we get too involved with it, this portion of the show is brought to you by our friends over at NFLshop.com. Get the gear that the Giants wear on the sidelines, on the field, all at NFLshop.com. You want the hats, you want the jerseys, you want the shirts. They have it all. NFLshop.com. Shop the Giants store. Get your 2025 gear now at NFLshop.com. All right.
It's going to be at a heavy discount if they keep playing like this. So go ahead and take a look at it.
Yeah, you know what? I just stopped myself from making a jersey joke, but you know what? We're gonna hold tight. We're gonna hold tight there.
Hang on to it.
Yeah, you know, gentlemen, I have to say there was a lot of exciting expectations. People were really fired up about Sunday, 1 p.m. this past week, and I'll tell you, the first drive down the field, I know they didn't do much, but I still felt like that there was something there, and it just felt like it was a little frantic, and it felt frantic for the rest of the time. I said this to Ryan multiple times. The time down the field where they scored the field goal, even though they blew a red zone opportunity, it was the only time I felt like they were comfortable on the field. The rest of the game, they never got to that point. Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main culprit, I think there's two in my mind. But I think the primary culprit for me was that the Giants lost the battle in the trenches. We could not keep the defense out of the backfield. And it gave Russell Wilson the same happy feet that Daniel Jones had. When you get pressured on 50% of your plays, you're not going to be able to get any rhythm. You're not going to be able to set anything up. You're not going to be able to run between the tackles. You're just not going to do anything that you want to do. And the success of our quarterback is reliant upon our ability to keep him clean, to keep a pocket. We just couldn't do that on Sunday, and it really caused the whole thing to implode. You know, the defense had their issues, but quite frankly, one of the things that we needed to have the offense do was keep the defense off the field, and they just couldn't do it. So I think it all kind of revolves around us losing that battle in the trenches. I think there were some coaching issues as well, but we'll get to those in a little bit.
Ryan, I think you hit it right on the head, man. I think it was the battle of the trenches, and it was pure domination from the Commanders. And let's be real about this. The Commanders might be a team that, you know, is around late, just like they were last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're surprising anybody. You know, when you go to the NFC Championship, you go to a championship game, you shouldn't surprise anyone, especially somebody in your division that you play twice a year. I'm not saying that the Giants were surprised by them, but 6 points. I'm just trying to figure out a good reason and a good excuse for them only scoring 6 points because I can't find it. You know, even throughout the ebb and flow of the game, the Commanders, they played a sloppy game. Yeah. Very sloppy.
Yeah, they were in it at halftime. They were still in the game at halftime.
The Giants were fully in the game at halftime. The Commanders had 12 penalties. They had about 4 or 5 drops, just as many drops as the Giants. Big time drops, 2 early drops that slowed their momentum down, cured their drives. They had penalties that extended the Giants' drive over and over again. Sometimes the Giants came away with points, which is only 3. Sometimes they didn't. But the line of scrimmage, like you said, Ryan, it's everything in football. Mm-hmm. If you can establish a run, if you can stop the run, if you can assert your will on another team, Like you can basically do whatever you want to them. A mistake-laden Commanders team still scored 21 points. I think that's a testament to them because we didn't really do too many things to stop them. They passed the ball when they needed to pass the ball, second and longs, third and longs. They were converting. Penalties kind of hindered them. Drop passes definitely hindered them. And then at the end of the game, you saw the physicality that they had over the Giants truly show up when they just basically ran the ball down our throats to end the game, and there was really nothing the Giants can do. It was very disheartening to watch. The Giants are not who we thought they were because we all had high expectations. A little preseason kind of foolery that we had watching them play the preseason game, scoring 30 points, looking like a cohesive unit. Where I think I said to Madeline today, I said, like, can you please stop talking about the preseason? Like
we need to stop that
earlier in the show. Back in the day when I was playing football, I remember the Indianapolis Colts were notorious for not winning a game in the preseason. And if you remember anything from the Colts, when Peyton Manning was there, they won 12 games a year. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you do in the preseason. It really doesn't. Yep. It doesn't matter how your team looks. It doesn't matter if you lose every game, if you get blown out every game, if you win every game by 35 points. It does not matter. What matters is these 17 games that are being played at the beginning of September all the way to the beginning of January. Those are the games that matter. And to tell you what, the Giants, they're the worst scoring team in the league. I don't want to speak too many taking shots. That is a fact that I said last year. It wasn't for that Colts game, that anomaly of a game where the Giants scored 45 points. The Giants would have not only been the lowest scoring team in the league, they would have had the number one pick in the draft. Yep. The Giants are flirting with some really negative connotations when it comes to the organization because of what they're doing on the field. It's very disheartening. I'm a full representative of the Giants, as you can see from my shirt, as you can see from my thousands of New York Giants shirts and helmets that I have throughout my house. And it's embarrassing, guys. It's embarrassing. And I'm watching film to see, what's the problem. And there's so many different issues, right? Dexter Lawrence, I was like, man, he was a no-show. You know why he was a no-show? They double-teamed him every play, guys. Yeah. Right. Every play he was double-teamed. Yeah. And I'm not saying the other guys didn't. Yeah, we are going to need that. And actually, the other guys in the defensive line, Brian Burns, had a hell of a game. Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding throughout the game. Kayvon Thibodeau showed up. Even Abdul Carter, limited snap counts. He blocked the punt. They all showed up. My biggest problem, offense is too many problems to go over. Too many. Yeah. My biggest problem from the unit that we felt was going to be the dominant unit, the ones that we can kind of, hang everything on. And if they would have played a little bit better, the Giants would have had more opportunities on offense. The defense, they were so out of sync in terms of fitting the runs. It wasn't too many times where, like, the Commanders just lined up and just straight blew the guys off the ball, got up to the linebackers, and just kicked the linebackers' ass. It wasn't really like that, guys. It was more of guys not in the right spot. A lot of people playing in the same gap. A lot of late adjustments to Deebo Samuel in motion that kind of threw run fits in the whack. So I watched the film. I was very, of course, I was disturbed as I was going into it. After I watched it, I wasn't more disturbed. I wasn't more disgusted. I was just like, oh, wow, the Giants got away without getting blown out by 30 points.
That's exactly it.
Because that's the type of football they played. They only got beat by 15 points with 6-21. Yeah. But it was way worse than that. Yeah, it should have been a lot worse than that. But the Commanders, look, you throw in their week one, you throw against our week one. That was a Commanders week one game. You're not going to see as many drop passes from them. I hope I can say the same for us. But we saw them be the outfit that they were last year, winning the playoff game, challenging the almighty. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. Challenging the Eagles. I can't do it. I wanted to do it because because they have been such a very strong presence in the NFC for a while now. I'm not going to do it because I still hate them. Fuck the Eagles. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's right.
But that's my rant, guys. That's how I feel. I didn't give up hope. Of course not. It's the best thing about this game that it's week 1.
That's right.
That's right. And what have I been preaching, Ryan? Ryan, what have I been preaching all week?
It takes 4 games to know really what you have, right? And I'm quite frankly, I'm a little bit scared of what our record's going to look like 4 games from now if we don't improve in a dramatic way over the course of the next 3 weeks. But I want to bring something up that just kind of caught my eye. JC, you mentioned the Commanders had a week 1 kind of game, right? So their skill level, a week 1 kind of game for them is like a B-, it's a C+ kind of game.
They got them 432 yards.
432 yards. And here's the stats that just make me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. We got them to they tried to give us that game. We got them to a 2nd and 16. They got a 16-yard pass. 2nd and 19, a 13-yard pass and 11-yard run. 2nd and 21, a 9-yard pass and a 21-yard pass. 2nd and 19, 8-yard pass, incomplete punt. That's the one bright spot in this whole thing. 2nd and 14, defensive holding, automatic first down. 2nd and 17, 12-yard run and a 19-yard pass. 2nd and 15, a 15-yard pass. So we got them to 1st and long. Guys, what is the strength of our defense? We said all along that the one place we needed them to be was in 1st and long, 2nd and long, so that we can pin our ears back and go after them. And it didn't make a fucking bit of difference. We actually got them to those
places. A lot of seconds and longs were converted.
Whether we got them there or not, it just didn't happen the way it was supposed to happen. And so that's another reason why I'm thinking that it wasn't just the offense issue, right? It's not just the offensive trenches that we had the problem in. Those guys that were supposed to block the run, I didn't hear Roy Robertson Harris's name called once, right? Darius Alexander didn't even fucking dress for the game, right? I mean, I didn't hear Nacho except for maybe a time or two, and I think one of them was a penalty. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, they just didn't have their shit together. And, I mean, I'm wondering, part of me, right, the logical part of me, the non-pissed off, right, the part of me that's not the pissed off fan, right, is like, look, what do you expect? They didn't play as an entire unit really for more than, 10 plays, 15 plays in all of those first 3 games of the preseason. Of course, there's no continuity. Of course, there's no sense of togetherness on that field. I mean, maybe with the exception of the secondary because they played for most of it. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it just doesn't feel like outside of practice in a game situation. This is what happens. You know, you rest all of your first team guys so that you can keep them healthy. The down part about that is that they are not prepared to play as a unit until, later on in the season. And so there are coaches that are willing to put their players in harm's way with the added benefit of them actually having more cohesion and a greater ability to play together when they do play those first few games.
Right. And you got to play football to get ready for football. That's the only way to do it. It's the only way to simulate your body with going against a force of a man that's bigger than you or same size as you. There's only one way to do that is to actually do it, you know, and starting out when I was playing, of course, back in my day, we had double sessions and we would do full pads. I hated it. I definitely hated it, but I was always ready week 1, fellas.
Right.
I was always ready week 1, you know, and for some reason, man, I don't know, the whole shift in the league, the Guardian caps and, you only hit a couple times. There's no like true like violence that happens in practice. And it's like, how do you want a violent team? How do you want a physical team when you're not practicing violence, when you're not practicing physicality? That's what football is. When you watch Dexter Lawrence play, he's violent. He is a violent player. He's the one guy that I know, and maybe I put Burns on that list too. He's 2 guys that I know that I don't got to worry about those guys. They already understand how to practice. They can do it because you know why? They're seasoned veterans. This team is not full of guys that are active that are seasoned veterans. You got Tyler Nubin. You got the nickel 22.
Drew Phillips.
Drew Phillips. I love the kid. He made an amazing play.
Yes,
but
did.
you know what? He was out of position a couple of times on some of these run plays, right? And it's like you can't keep making these really good plays and then you mess up and blow ME and it's a 20-yard run down the field. We're not rookies anymore, guys. You've been playing since you were a rookie.
Yeah.
These guys need to go ahead and take the training wheels off and play some big boy football. You know why? I'm not even talking about the offense, fellas. I'm strictly talking about the defense. You know why? Because they possess one of the most talented, most physical forces and disruptive players I've ever seen in my life. And he's getting doubled every play.
Sure.
That means everybody else should eat.
Yes.
Everyone.
And,
not just the D-line, the linebackers, the safeties, the nickels, the corners. You need to eat. Everybody needs to eat because you have a guy that's in there that's occupying 2 men every play, guys.
That's right.
Whether he was pass rushing or run stopping.
You're one player up on every play.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense, you know.
Is it a player thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Is it a? I'm sorry. It's just this is what's got me thinking about it, right? I mean, we have guys that are talented on this team. Drew Phillips is a talented guy, right? Tyler Nubin is a talented guy. Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo. These are talented guys, and they're out of position. Is that a player thing or is that a scheme thing? Is it the scheme that's got them in the wrong place for whatever offense is that they're facing, right? I mean, Dan Quinn has our number. He had our number, and I'm wondering if that has to do more with the scheme than it does the players.
I will tell you guys.
I think it has something to do with familiarity too. Sorry, Randy.
Yeah.
You know, this is the second year in the Shane Bones defense. I will allow a couple mental errors, right? Because this is a new defense for Holland, for Debo. I understand it. This is only the second year for these young guys, but I don't want to keep coming in here making excuses for these guys.
Yeah, right.
You know, like let's be real about this. Like the offense is out of whack. Andrew Thomas' presence is always felt when he doesn't play. We look like we don't know what we're doing at all.
Right. But here's
every game he's ever missed for the New York Giants, we look like shit. Yeah. Every game.
But him being on that left tackle spot isn't gonna put weight on John Michael Schmitz. It's not going to make him a heavier center that he needs to be. It's not going to keep Greg Van Roten from losing a step because he's old as fuck, right? It's not going to keep those things from happening, right? And listen, GVR, I love you, pal, but you had a shit game, and I have to wonder if it's because there's some other issues going on there. Okay.
Hey, listen, Ryan. I'm gonna be honest with you. As they were getting their ass kicked during the game, I was like, the Commanders do got a pretty good defensive line. They got a pretty good defensive line.
It's all right.
Deron Payne's a man of man. Yeah, he's very comparable to our guy Dexter Lawrence. Very comparable to him.
Okay, and so here's the thing, right? I mean, I know it takes a little while to get into the swing of things, right? We did have that, and maybe it's like a Viking situation last year, right? We got our asses handed to us in game 1 of the season last year, and we thought it was just because we looked like absolute dog shit. Right. But it ended up being not just because we looked like dog shit, but because the Vikings were actually really good. Right. They were really good. They were better than a lot of
the Vikings were undefeated for a little while. Boy.
And we actually hung with this team on Sunday. We actually hung with them. It was an 8-point game with 7 minutes left in the game. But we were around.
It's not because of what we did. Right? It's because of what they did. They fucked up.
Listen,
and that's why we were
if they ended up turning the ball over by some freak play, you know, running back drops the ball, literally has nothing to do with the Giants, I would take that win.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care how they won. I will take that win, guys.
Look, and a win by any other name would smell as sweet, 110%. But at the end of the day, it's not because we played well that we were close in that game, right? So there's a lot of stuff to clean up. And yes, it's week 1. They didn't play well together. There's definitely another opportunity. I think we tried to finesse them when all we needed to do was just pound the rock in their fucking face and have that be the end of it. I don't know why Elijah Chapman wasn't activated. I don't know why Evan Neal wasn't activated. If you're talking about short yardage, if you're talking about goal line, if you're talking about guards being undersized, we've got one that's 340 pounds. Why don't we put him in there? Run somebody behind that motherfucker. Let's put Scat. Let's do a little scat chat. let's have Chatham in there and like blowing linebackers into the next dimension while we've got Scadaboo running some yards behind that. I mean, I think we just need to stop trying to be all cute and finessey and start ramming it down somebody's throat.
Well,
just a personal opinion.
Well said, Ryan. Well said.
Well, listen, I've been the one, like I said, preaching that it's only week 1, and you have generally a pretty much new team. This is from at least from the offensive side, but there's not as much excuses that you can make for the defense other than they just didn't show up. And that to me,
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say they didn't show up. I wouldn't say that.
You
actually had some really good plays though on defense.
They were,
I've seen the tape wasn't bad, and of course, if they would have converted, those couple of drop passes and a couple of inaccurate throws by Jaden, but I'm never complaining about how terrible offense plays against us. I'm never complaining about that. Yep. The truth of the matter is they held them to 21 points. This team averaged 29 points a game last year. The Giants only made them punt twice in 2 games last year. They made them punt 5 times. I feel like that's good enough to keep it competitive. And he did. They kept it competitive for the last 7 minutes. And then after that, if you have an abysmal offense and you can't score points, six freaking points, guys.
Do you know how many points? Do you know how many points we've scored in game 1s over the last 3 years?
Oh my God.
It's like 12 total.
12 points in 3 games. 3 years.
4 points a game, guys.
Yeah, we were above average then this
2
past time.
But I got to also tell you, JC, you made a comment before about the preseason. I remember interviewing you after one of the preseason games a couple of years, I think it was 2016 or 2017 after the Jet game. And I asked you about the game itself, and you said, I wasn't happy that we blew a 20-something point lead, even if it wasn't preseason. I remember you said that to me. I remember I was looking at you, and you're just like, I'm not happy with us blowing a lead like that, even if it is preseason. Look, at the end of the day, guys, I know I keep saying it's only week 1, it's week 1, but right now, we didn't even look like from the offensive side of the ball. I'm transitioning over to offense because I have a lot to say about this. Like Wandell, well, first off, I was happy to see Wandell Robinson because he looked like he was the only Giants receiver who had anything going whatsoever. My big problem was Russell Wilson at certain points in that game looked like a 37-year-old quarterback.
He looked like
ironically enough, though, the one thing that we've been saying that we don't want to rely on him for is his legs, and he was our leading rusher by like 15 yards. I mean, he had 44 rushing yards, right? I felt like he was the only one that was trying to make stuff happen. And you're right, Randy. When you said initially that they were frantic, they did. They looked frantic almost the entire game.
They looked like at certain points of this game that there was anywhere else they wanted to be but in Washington, D.C. They looked like they were not interested in being on that field. They were looking at the clock saying, is this shit over with yet?
They just were overmatched. My guy, they were just overmatched.
And what made me very angry, and JC, I got to get your reaction from this. They were first and goal on the 3-yard line. And they threw 3 straight consecutive passes.
And gadget plays.
Help me understand this. You have Tyron Tracy, who came into this season as a guy who's supposed to be taking the next step to be part of the next big Giants running back core. Devin Singletary, who has equity in this league for the time he was with Buffalo and Houston. Cam Scadaboo, who's been getting nothing but praise as an energy guy and a guy who's going to be able to be a difference maker on this team. And in that first and goal, in that sequence, none of them touched the ball.
Well,
on the 3-yard line.
Randy, I would say if they ran the ball, they would have a better chance, but I don't know if I would just be straight lying to you. The running backs had 30 yards total. All 3 of the running backs. Cam Scadaboo who had one of the most, I think, exciting plays of the day. It was like a 4-yard catch.
I love that one.
And he literally trucked the safety.
I saw that.
Threw Louisville out of bounds and gave Louisville some problems another time during the game.
Yep.
Are they wrong for not running the football? I mean, really, you think they could have ran the football against this front?
With the personnel package they had? No. With the personnel package that they could have had, 110% yes.
And you're speaking with Evan Neal
I'm talking
at guard.
about Evan Neal at guard, Chapman at fullback, and Scatterbo with the ball in his hands. You're going to put 700 pounds of man in the first 2 guys that you send, right? That's going to open things up a little bit. I don't care who you've got on the other side.
I hear you, but there's a reason why Evan Neal's not playing, man. You know, that's the sad
that Evan
truth
Neal is
about
not
it.
I know. The reason Evan Neal's not playing is because he can't pass protect. It's not because he's not sticky in the run game. And I know that you can't put him on the field when we're talking like 2nd and 10, you know, at the 40, right? But you're going to have goal line situations. You're going to have position like times when they are going to know you're running the ball and you need a big body up front to push that pocket. And I don't know why you wouldn't give yourself that opportunity. Why would you not even dress the guy? Is he that bad? I mean, is he that bad in the run game even? I know you don't want to telegraph, but
Ryan, it's been years, Ryan, for this kid, man. He's not even a kid.
We've
been calling him a kid for 3 years.
He was on the side. He was on the outside.
Listen, we've sat here and we've talked about not naming any players in particular, but we've been sitting there saying that sometimes there's guys who just need a change of scenery. Evan Neal might be one of those guys who just might need a change of scenery. When Eric Flowers was a disaster here, he went to other places and had success.
But I wonder the artist formerly known as Danny Dimes.
I was trying not to say his names. I was trying my hardest not to say his name.
Holy smokes! I know y'all was on the same type of thought process and feel as I was. As we're watching the Giants not move the ball at all, and you see Daniel Jones' stat line. Whenever the first time you saw the stat line, mine was 10 of 12, 1 passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown, right? And they had 20-something points at that point. And I was like, this is some bullshit. As soon as I saw it, I said, this is some bullshit, man. For years, we've been kind of not trying to beat Daniel Jones down. We've been trying our best not to, but then at the end, we beat him down really good. We beat Daniel Jones down good. We all did. All of the New York fans, all of the media, we beat him down good. And we all thought rightfully so. But really? Was that rightfully so? Because he's having some success in a program with of course, a talented wide receiver core, but he looked like a different person there, guys.
Yeah, but it's apples and oranges, right? He has a line in Indianapolis, and not for nothing, they were playing the Miami Dolphins. They weren't playing the NFC champion Washington Commanders. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just in the same way that we're tempering expectations for our side of things or hoping for better, right? Let's temper expectations on what Danny Dimes says. I'm not taking anything away from him. The man had a great game, and quite frankly, God love him, right? More power to him. I'm glad he's having the success. He earned that success, and I'm glad he had it. But let's talk about this in a couple of weeks when he falls back to earth a little bit.
Yeah, and not only that too, but one of the things from a practical standpoint, I've seen professional athletes have torn ACLs and come back the following season. They might be in shape, but they may not be in the shape that they need to be for their sport.
Mentally too, like a mental shape as well.
Yeah. So
that's to Randy's point. Yeah.
So for him to come back now, it usually takes about 2 years to come back from an injury like that to really be like yourself. He looked like 2022 Daniel Jones in the game.
Daniel Jones never looked that good.
Okay. That's fair.
You got to remember. In 2022, he wasn't a prolific passer. Right. The first game we've ever seen him play, he kind of fooled us all because that game in Tampa, whatever year that was, Randy, 2019. That first game, we was like, wow, he is a great thrower of the football, and it looks like his legs can be used right in different ways. And then as the years progressed, we've seen who Daniel Jones showed us, not who we thought he was, not who he showed us for a half a year. At the end of the day, he was a quarterback that needed to be able to run the football because he wasn't a stay in a pocket type of quarterback to hit accurate throws with rhythm and timing down the field. But that's exactly who he was on Sunday. That's who he was. They were passing the ball all over the place in Indianapolis. And I'm sitting here thinking like, all right, guys, what does this all mean, Basil? What does it mean, Basil? I don't know what it means, but it ain't good. I know that. It ain't good.
It brings up questions. It does beg the question, did we use him wrong? Did we play to his strengths? Did we provide him an opportunity to succeed in this place? Or did we try to make him something that he wasn't ever going to be? Right. And
I said before, and I'll say it again, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I sat there when they introduced Joe Shane as the general manager of the New York Football Giants, and I listened to John Maris sit there say, we've done everything we can to possibly screw this kid up. We've gone through many coaches changes, how many offensive coordinator changes, no consistent offensive line. You can't be, look, Eli, you can say what you want about Eli, okay? From when he got here, what was the constants with Eli? Tom Coughlin. Okay. When Daniel got here, he went from Pat Shurmur to Joe Judge to Brian Dable. Okay. And how many offensive coordinators between the three coaches? So hard to be successful that way when there's no consistency whatsoever.
Sure. It puts the eye on, and I hate to say this, but it does to some degree put the eye back on the coaching staff, right? Are we sure that we've got the right guys in place to lead this team and make the most out of their capabilities? I have to wonder why it took them until late in the third quarter to realize that we couldn't run the ball up the middle, right? Why are we trying to pass the ball when we're in the red zone? We might as well call it the dead zone, right? And we're just not having it. And so, we need to make adjustments. We need to make them faster than we've made them. And it just bothers me that the yards that we did get is when we sent people outside. And why it took so long to figure that out is what kind of baffles me. I don't know that I saw one screenplay that actually worked that was well executed. But anyway, that's just another.
I tell you what, though, man. Listen, real quick. Some of those screenplays, like, it doesn't really matter the scheme if that defensive line is hauling ass.
Yeah,
and that's
what true.
They were doing, Randy.
That's true.
And Ryan, they were. That's what I'm saying. Like, this was, a great, evaluator of where the Giants are, right? But let's not take anything from the Commanders. They might be in the NFC Championship game again. Yep. They have the team to do it. They definitely have the quarterback to do it. They have big play wide receivers, and they have a gang on defense. They're violent. They're vicious. They don't take no shit from nobody, and they're not scared of anybody. They went against the Eagles, fought them toe to toe. They played a good game against them in the NFC Championship, and they got a very confident young leader, and they're going to be good for a very long time. And that's the most bothersome part, because the Giants have just been trying to figure out how to be competent. And not only did the Commanders figure that out, they're on the verge of being a dominant team in the NFC because of their ability to make basically anything they want to do on offense because of the quarterback play and the way they want to establish the run and with the weapons they have on the outside. And let's be real about this defense, they were rushing 4 a lot. And I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I was watching the stunts. It would be difficult for any offensive line to pick up the amount of stunts and how aggressive and how perfectly the stunts were ran. And this week coming up, I know we're going to talk about Dallas. That is the number one thing I'm concerned about, is the 4-man games, not just the blitzes and adding pressure, free runners and all of that. I think Russell did a solid job with that in terms of recognizing it. I don't think he reacted to it well. He was skittish. He was, kind of had his ants in his pants. But Dallas will stunt. And when they watch that film, which they already did, when they watch the film from Sunday, they're going to say, "Oh, we don't need to add any extra blitzers.
Right.
We could just mess them up with our front, and let's see what Danny Clark does in replace of Micah Parsons." Thank God Micah Parsons out of the division.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if you guys heard earlier today, the Giants did waive Trey Hawkins. I didn't know if you heard that move. That did come down a little while ago. But listen, I also will say this too, as we start discussing the Cowboys, putting the final bow on the Commanders. Look, the Malik Nabers outburst, it's out of emotion. We all know that. This is, if I had a grade the whole day, obviously you're not getting higher than a D for how everything was.
That's too high.
That's
too high.
That's what you're saying. I got a D.
Randy,
no,
listen,
you got a D plus.
If the Commanders were playing efficient football offensively, they would have had 30-something, 38, maybe 40-something points, bro. Because you got a offense that cannot do anything.
Right.
Like the two drives that they scored was like 12 and 16 yards to get 6 points.
Yep, and I'll tell you the three names who I didn't hear on the offense. We keep on saying the guys we haven't heard from on the defensive side. I mentioned Devin Singletary's name. You didn't really hear his name at all. You did not hear the name of Darius Slayton on Sunday.
Jalen Hyatt didn't get a snap.
Yeah, like that to me is another big thing. We keep talking about Evan Neal. You keep talking about Evan Neal and his face being on a milk carton. What about Jalen Hyatt, man?
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, aren't these guys really that bad? Are they really that bad that you can't even give the man a snap? You didn't even dress the other one? Are they really that bad? Come on.
I think, I hate to say it, Ryan, but I think they are.
Come on. He had too much. Listen, he had too much production at Tennessee. I mean, even if you need to simplify the guy's route tree, even if you need to, whatever you got to do, but he has too much talent to just not even give him a snap, not even give him an opportunity. It's almost like there's a vendetta. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm purposefully trying to screw you over and keep you out of the game. Listen, I'm not going to put that out there, but it feels that way, right? Why else would you just not even give the guy a chance to see the field? Much less give him a target.
You're not wrong.
I think we all agree that it's the first game. Of course, we said that plenty of times. It's only week 2 of the NFL season. Every single person in the organization, on the team, in the field, their families, we all want them, and just like they do, they all want to win.
Sure, of course.
They all do. There is no one right now in the entire Giants nation that doesn't want to see the Giants win. Are they putting forth the effort? I truly believe so. But there's something that's not right about this team. I don't know what it is. It's something that just doesn't truly make sense. How you have a guy like Russell Wilson, and look, he's not the Russell Wilson of old. But why was he? Why was he? There was a play screen out to the right. I think it was 3rd and 1, and he sidearmed it and fell down. That. And I listened to the TV copy at the same time as watching the All 22. It's my new thing. I'm listening to the TV copy while I'm watching the All 22. Nice. Just because when I watched the game first, I was at a bar. I couldn't really hear it. So I'm hearing Tom Brady say, "Oh, Russell Wilson's get hit." And I'm watching, I'm saying, who nobody hit. Nobody was close to him.
Yeah.
He looked like he got hit. He got jittery and fell backwards and sidearmed the ball. And I'm just thinking, like, what the heck that was about? But this is the thing. He didn't play like that the whole game. There was a whole bunch of times where he sat in that pocket and he either threw the ball away, threw it over somebody's head because they wasn't open, threw the ball, they dropped it, or he threw the ball for a completion and got hit in his face. Murdered. So yeah. I'm not taking anything away from Russell. Could he have played better? Yes. But you can't point at Russell saying, "Oh, if you play better, the Giants would have." No. It don't work that way. It's a collective thing.
Sure. And you're putting him in a position to fail if you don't change things. I think a big part of the problem is that we weren't quick enough to make adjustments when we saw things weren't working. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same things and expecting different results, right? So if you see that something's not going right, you need to change up your philosophy. You need to start being smarter about the play calls. Don't put him in that position if he's going to be in that spot. If you don't want him there, if he's getting, if they're getting too much pressure up the middle, there are ways that you can scheme around that. And we just didn't do it. We didn't make adjustments. We didn't make them fast enough.
And not only that, but you heard Dable in the postgame press conference when they were asking him about Russell Wilson. He said it wasn't Russell's fault.
No, it's not.
You can't blame Russell's fault. And all those people who are sitting there saying we should, why didn't you play Jackson? And Dable's like, I didn't want him getting hurt. He knew what was going on out there. That left side kept on collapsing very, very quickly. And,
we won't get
it. This is what, and I know Dable would never give this to us.
Be here for 2 hours.
If I was a head coach and I just, was a part of this game, right? Literally, exactly, just replace me with Dayball. I would have said it is his fault. It's his fault. It's my fault. It's Nabers' fault. It's Dexter Lawrence's fault. I would have named all of the leaders on the team. That's what I would have did. I would have named all of the leaders. It's our fault.
Yeah,
we lost this game. It's not one person.
Yep,
and that's what it truly is. At the end of the day, like Dexter got doubled every team. Dexter, you got to win a double. You got to get off the double, Dex. You know why? Because you're good enough to do it, and you can. And we've seen it happen before. Because this team needs people to play bigger than what we're giving them credit for. Kayvon Thibodeau, we need more. Brian Burns had 2 sacks on one drive. We needed 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just need more from these guys. I don't know what it is and what's it going to take, but we need more. We're just not seeing enough. Like, we're not seeing a team that is a competitive team. The Giants didn't win a game in the division last year. 2 years ago, when the Giants were actually a competent team, they went 1-4-1 in the division. I don't care what you think about the Cowboys. I talk shit about them every fucking year, every year. But you know what? 3 years in a row, they won 12 games.
Yep.
And even when they're not competent, they still score a lot of points.
Sure.
The Commanders have come from the depths, from being in the slums to now being a Super Bowl contender. And we're not going to talk about the damn Eagles because we all understand the type of powerhouse that they are. The Giants need to figure out a way to compete in this division. You got a Cowboys team who I think played pretty well opening night on Thursday night. They're up against a very talented receiver group, if not one of the best receivers in the NFL with CeeDee Lamb. And we could talk shit about Dak all you want. The guy's a good fucking quarterback.
Yeah, he's playing.
And when he's healthy, this team scores a lot of fucking points.
Yep.
That's just the truth. The Giants got to figure out a way to be competent in their division. And they just haven't figured it out, man. And it's so like bewildering to me, and I just got to say, guys just got to do more. It's on everyone. It's not on the coach. It's not on the GM. It's not on Burns. It's not on. It's on all of everybody.
Y'all.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's on everybody. And the one thing that sort of the scary stat that sort of sticks with all of us is since 2017, the Giants only have one regular season win against the Dallas Cowboys. Since 2017.
Yeah, they've owned us. And I think we don't have a win in their house. Right?
Since then. No, we beat them on the last game of the 2020 season.
Was it 1920?
Yeah, the 1920 season. Yes. But you think about that. The last time we had success against them was 2016. We swept them. The Giants swept the Cowboys, and then 2020, the last game of the year, and that was it.
Well, look, the one thing that we can say is that it is a different team than the Commanders. They have different strengths. It's a different kind of mentality. It's a different philosophy. It's just a completely different animal. And so we are going to have an opportunity to attack that animal in a different way, maybe in a way that is going to be more impactful than what we saw against the Commanders, right? I saw somebody say, go ahead.
They can't do anything what they did last week. in terms of offense.
It has to be. It has to be a totally different approach.
They can't look that way. You know, like they just can't. You know, this when you have somebody's number, you have to play. You have to play out of your mind to get that back. You know, like they're not going to give it to you. They're like your older brother who's just going to hold your head and let you swing. You have to figure out another approach because that shit ain't working. Sure. You know what I mean? And they are little boying us now in the division.
Yeah,
you know,
and for good reason.
Let's be real about this. Since 2016, the Giants are one of the worst teams in the NFL record-wise. Like they might be the worst team in the league. And this is my thing. I don't care. People want to talk about the coaches. People want to talk about Shane and what he did with the roster. Guys, I've been a part of 4 NFL teams. I played for a whole bunch of different head coaches. And I'm sorry, not one coach has ever tackled somebody, has ever threw a pass, has ever blocked anyone, has ever they get penalties, but has ever played a snap while I was playing. And I never felt like a coach was responsible for a loss unless they made some egregious mistake late in the fourth quarter. It was like, coach, that's definitely on you. But it's not like that with this team. I don't want to hear about Dayball. I don't want to hear about Shane. I want to hear about the guys that are on the field. That's why every time I get upset, do I talk about like the low players or like the young players? I talk about the leaders.
Yeah, right.
I talk about Dexter Lawrence. I watched him get double teamed every play. I'm sorry, Dexter, you need to beat those double teams now. Now you need to beat them. The Giants need to see what excellence looks like. They need to see what a guy that's playing out of his mind looks like, and it can't just be from Brian Burns. It has to be from the good players that are signed in the offseason that supposedly elevated the defensive back room. Bobby Okereke, who was a huge signing for us 2 years ago. Bobby, we need you. I'm talking to you, Bobby, because I know him, and I feel like you are a leader. You are the leader. We need you to play better. Like we need guys that we know are good players in the NFL that play for the New York Giants to play good football, play disciplined football, show some type, stop somebody, slow somebody down.
Please God.
we need that. Like it's bigger than X's and O's. It's about having some pride, bro. Like the Giants, they're not just one of the great organizations because they have 4 Super Bowls. They're one of the great organizations because of all of the great players that have played here from 1925. It's been thousands of great, fantastic players. That top 100 last year, the Giants' greatest 100 players, were we not like looking back like, wow, like this is so many great men that play for such a great organization. But it's like, guys, when are you guys going to start believing that and believe in yourself and actually put it out there on a field? It's fucking disgusting.
Well, and Randy's got to go and do that. I'm just starting to feel better about what we're going to look like going forward. 40-91-1 record since January 31st of 2017.
That's an average of 5 games a year. Wins.
Yeah.
Over 10 losses a year. That's disgusting. That's what I'm talking about. That's disgusting. Like that's so bad.
It's going to take a Herculean effort to turn that around, right? And it's incumbent upon the leaders. JC, I think you're 110% right. It's going to take the leaders stepping up, leading by example, expecting that from everybody else, and calling people out when they're not getting it.
Boys, is it trivia time?
Oh, please, God. Can we make it trivia time?
Yeah, please. Take my mind off of this.
All right, here we go. You ready?
All right, here we go. Who holds the Giants franchise record for most tackles in a week 1 game? Watch, it's going to be like Victor Cruz. Oh, okay, here we go. Antonio Pierce, BJ Goodson, Bobby Okereke, or Jesse Armstead. So it's most tackles in a week 1 game. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
There's a name I'm looking at because it's one of those that I wouldn't really recognize, and so maybe that's why I'm thinking that it should be that one, but I'm going to go D.
But I'm like, I played with him.
I'm going to go D, Jesse Armstead. That's my answer.
JC?
I'm going to go A, Antonio Pierce.
Gentlemen, I got some bad news for you.
Tell
They're
me it's
both
BJ
wrong.
Goodson.
It
Tell
is
me.
BJ Goodson. He recorded 18 tackles
knew
in
it.
the 2017
Knew
opener
it.
against the Dallas Cowboys.
The
The
Dallas
most-
Cowboys. You know what's so crazy? When you said that, I was like, was that the Wani Unga game when he had 18 tackles against Dallas? I literally said that. And when you put up BJ, I was like, nah, BJ didn't have that many tackles. I literally said that in my head. I'm so terrible. Gosh.
Yeah, give him a call. Be like, I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, BJ. Sorry about that, buddy.
I like BJ too, man. He was a good kid. He's a
Nice.
good kid.
Gentlemen, what scares me the most about this is the first games of our season. There is a very good possibility, JC, and that's assuming that we can handle ourselves with New Orleans. You can be 1-7 or 0-8.
You know what we can't do though? I mean, we can't do that to ourselves. You know, we have to say we need to focus on one team, right?
I
now.
understand
we need
that.
to focus on Dallas and have that be the end of it, because what happens in that Dallas game is going to determine what happens after that Dallas game, right? And we're not going to know that until we actually see them.
Like as you see the scroll on the bottom looking ahead, I'm just saying, you have after the Cowboys, you have the Chiefs, we have the Chargers, you have the Saints,
ugly, man.
You have the Eagles, the Broncos, then the Eagles again.
Eagles. Yeah, that's a disgusting stretch of games. And then, we are going to have to do some.
And then the 49ers. And
wow.
the Bears look good the other night. The Packers, oh God, we still get to see Parsons this year.
Yeah, but it's only once.
Only once.
That's fine.
Let me tell you something. That play, the sack he had against Jared Goff, there is no one in the league that can do that. Mm-hmm. No one. There's not one person in the NFL that can make that play.
Yep.
No,
that's two.
He's
two
the only person that
picks and almost $200 million contract. So
can I tell you again, everything we've been saying so far, it's like I said, it's been one game. I will tell you the one guy from week one who sort of impressed me last night was JJ McCarthy, man. Like he actually looked pretty good
from the dead. Yeah, after that
he looked pretty good for 1 quarter.
1 quarter.
He was horrible for the whole game. He was terrible, right?
But he flipped the switch. It was bad. Crazy though. Like it was crazy to watch because he did. He flipped the switch. And then all of a sudden,
just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. Should have kind of knew that.
Yeah.
Just to have a funny moment from the weekend too. In the Sunday night game with Buffalo and Baltimore, about like 7 minutes left in the game, it was a 15-point game, and my wife looked at me and she goes, "Oh, this game's over." I said, "No, you can score by the 4-minute mark. Get a stop, get another score. It's right there." And she's like,
"It's on Monday, the Monday night game. Sunday night game.
Yeah, the Sunday night game. Yeah."
I turned it off when Ravens scored 40. I literally turned it off. I said, "Oh, this game's over." The reason why I turned it off, and it wasn't no doubt towards the Bills, it was they looked unstoppable. The Ravens looked unstoppable.
Derrick Henry had 175 yards. 175 yards, 3 touchdowns.
They could not stop the run. Lamar Jackson was doing what Lamar Jackson does. But it's something to the Baltimore Ravens giving up those fourth quarter losses like that, those fourth quarter leads like that.
Yeah.
There's something to that. It's something in the psyche that once they turn a nozzle down, and I think I know what it is. And I'm segue to actually a team that's competitive every year. The Baltimore Ravens, they go from we're just going to tear this team apart. We're going to run the ball down their throats. We're going to score as many points as possible. As soon as they turn that off and they say, all right, now we're going to protect this lead and milk the clock, the whole game changes for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they need to stop doing that. Just even if you turn the ball over late, just score as many points as possible. Stop trying to milk the clock and rely on your defense. Your defense does not have Ray Lewis or Ed Reed. Haloti Ngata is not there. You know what I mean? Like, that's a team that I feel like if they just make that switch, they're probably going to average more points a game, and they might have more turnovers. But I promise you, they're not giving up fourth quarter leads like they are now, bro. That's insane what's happening with them. That's insane.
I will tell you, watching Josh Allen play, man, like
It's beautiful.
Guys, how lucky are we? Right? We got to. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. I got a little nostalgic, right? I got to watch Peyton Manning play football. I got to watch Tom Brady play football. When I was really young, I got to watch Joe Montana and Steve Young play football, right? Now we're in a position where we're watching Josh Allen. We're watching Lamar Jackson. We're watching guys that for years down the road, people are going to say, oh, man, those were some of the great players ever. I mean, I love it. I love the idea that we are in those times right now. And I think we can all do well to take a second, stop and smell these roses and realize that we are watching some great, great stuff.
On Sunday, I really like on Friday night, I got to watch Justin Herbert play. And I said, like, he's starting to blossom into that player that we know he could be, but also getting to watch Joe Burrow.
He's been there for a little bit, though. He's been there for a little bit. He's been there for a while.
And same thing with Burrow. Like, one of the things, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about, like, Cincinnati was not a great team last year. I said they had a slow start, but if they can come out of the gate, like they were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. That's a good team.
They still scored 30 points a game.
Yeah, that's the scary part. That's the part.
You know who is like the biggest conundrum to me in the NFL? Caleb Williams. Because I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched, I watched like, let's call it an hour in real time, right? I watched like an hour of the game. I saw the comeback. JJ McCarthy he didn't look great, guys. He never looked great. He looked like he had moxie. He definitely did that. He was very late on most of his passes. That's going to get him killed and get a lot of interceptions thrown. If he corrects that, I think he could do some good things. Caleb Williams, on the other hand, I watched him do some incredible plays, some incredible throws. And then I watched him do some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen a quarterback do. And it's like he's such a – I don't know if y'all seen him play, like you actually play. If you watch him for three series, you're going to see a throw that nobody else in the NFL can throw.
Right.
You're going to see him run for his life and get away. You're going to see him do the most dumbest shit you have ever seen during that. You're going to see him make an amazing, beautiful pass, probably on the run. Then you're going to see him throw the ball in the pocket with his feet not set 10 yards over the receiver's head.
In fact, this guy,
you thought Jameis was exciting? This guy, you don't know what you're going to get from this guy.
Sure.
That's some crazy football with Caleb Williams in Chicago right now.
Keep you on your toes.
I'll tell you the one guy who went out and played like he was a man possessed this past weekend was definitely Aaron Rodgers with Pittsburgh, man. He looked like Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay the other day.
He looked mad, and I love the fact that he did it against the Jets. I just have to say.
Hey, Randy, you hit it with the ACL. 2 years removed from the Achilles. 2 years removed from the Achilles with a great coach. And how about that hit by Jalen Ramsey at the end of the game? After all of the shit talking back and forth, I love, like, as a defender, like you can't really, like, I've been out the game for 8 years, guys. I've been retired for a while. 2017 is my last season. We're now week 2 of 2025. There is nothing in my life that made me feel better besides having my daughter. That made me feel better. And now the Super Bowls were great and everything, but there's no greater feeling when telling somebody to shut the fuck up with your pads.
That's it.
No,
yes, sir.
That, guys.
Oh,
but you ain't got to say nothing. You just do it with your pads.
That's it.
And you just walk off the field with the W. Oh, my gosh.
Done.
There's no better feeling than that, guys.
Love it.
Well, guys, we have to do some predictions here for this upcoming Sunday for the
We
Cowboys.
were just feeling good, man. We were just feeling so good about this. Now I got to fucking do predictions. Giants lost. That's my prediction.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry.
Can we predict another game?
Let's do another one. All right. So it's CeeDee Lamb, it's George Pickens, it's Dak who can play. It's a decent line. It's going to be 27-12. 27-12 Dallas.
I was gonna pick 31 first for Dallas. And then I said, let me go 27. So I'm actually gonna go 28 because I don't want to act like I'm copying off of Ryan.
Fair enough.
Like if I say a number in the 20s, like I really don't believe that. If I say the Giants will get 21, 24 points, like it sounds good. Like I'm not giving up on the Giants. And I don't want to say I'm giving up on them because I'm not, because it's week 2, like we only play one game. But like to say that I think confidently that they can score 20 points, it'll be a lie. It'll be a complete bold-faced lie.
It's 2 touchdowns. Come on. They don't score touchdowns.
So
why do you think I went with 12?
Let's call it
4
20.
goals.
Let's call it 27-17. And again, I'm not as hurt as I once was when the Giants got beat 40-0 opening night against the Cowboys a couple years ago, right, guys? Right after the playoff win, and we were riding high. Expectations were high.
Wow.
Like I was like literally heartbroken.
I remember.
I'm more disgusted about what I'm seeing on the football field, and I think as a Giants player, because I've been on teams that when you look at the film, you're like, that's disgusting. I think that's a common feel for them. There's a couple guys, like I said, that play well. I think Brian Burns had a great game. Yes. I don't know how he graded out, but he looked good on a TV copy. He looked better on film. Dexter Lawrence got double the whole game. He didn't really have too much, but I feel like he didn't get pushed out every time he got double teamed. I think that was a good enough job. There are guys that will be okay with certain things, but then again, Brian Burns, if you're watching the film and you're watching yourself hold the line and you see somebody else just in the wrong place or allowing, running up the back of your own defender, like that's disgusting football. And that's what the Giants are playing as of right now. And they did it last year. They started off this year with it again. And my question is, we've seen a spark from Burns, but it didn't carry over to the rest of the defense. We've seen a couple great Nabers catches in the game, but it didn't carry over. Who's going to be the guy, and collectively, who's going to be the guys that make these plays to get us out of this bad, distasteful football that these guys have been playing for now going on 3 years now? This is going on 3 years that the Giants have been putting forth this disgusting football film. I'm trying to figure out when is this going to stop, fellas.
Hopefully, maybe this week. Hopefully, but we'll see what.
We'll see.
I'm an optimist. I'm going to follow.
Optimist. My ass, you're an optimist. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm a realist. I'm a realist. That's what I am.
Wait. Let's hear his score prediction. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah. If you pick the Giants, I swear to God.
No. I did it last week. I'm not doing it again this week. I bought
did we all pick the Giants last week? We were so
we did.
optimistic, and then we just got put in our place.
It's amazing how we
drank the Kool-Aid. We drank the Kool-Aid, all of us.
We've all done such a 180. We're like, last week we said, just like, yeah, this is gonna be. We're gonna do this.
You know why? Because optimism is one thing, but then the truth is the truth.
we got blinded by that preseason, man. We were sitting there going, this team's gonna look pretty good. All right, I think we should play every team second string from now on, man. And we'll do some pretty good stuff. I think it's gonna be 28-12 Cowboys. I just.
Yep.
And you know what's the crazy thing about it is that both of you guys are literally giving the Giants a shit fucking prediction, but even that, y'all still gave them double the amount of points that they had last week.
That's right. That's a win. I'll give them 4 field goals instead of 2. Yeah.
Oh my!
You know what it is? You know what it is? I honestly
so
also feel
bad.
I also think that Washington is also a better team than Dallas. So I'm willing to.
Yeah.
So
I think they are too.
I'm willing to give the Giants that. That's all I'm giving them. I'm going to give them that. But look,
I remember real quick. I remember back in like 2009 to 2010, the Saints, we were rolling. You know, we won 13 straight games in 2009. Dropped the last 3. En route to winning the Super Bowl. Tampa was like the low team in the division. Tampa would find a way to beat New Orleans. They would. They beat us a couple times when I was playing for the Saints, and we were, rolling up 10, 11 wins a year, 12 wins a year. Tampa, because it's the division game, like division, they played each other, even the Miami Dolphins, the Patriots couldn't win in Miami for a while. The Jets would find a way to beat the Patriots every year, even though the Patriot won 37 straight AFC East championships. But they would find a way to be competitive in their division. They would find a way. And I've literally been saying this on every single broadcast I've been on, especially with the New York Giants. The Giants have to figure out a way to be competitive in division. They have to. They have to. And this is 2 division games to start the season with. 2025, a season after you average 15 points a game. You start this season scoring 6 points. You are below the low. I mean, the second lowest was 8 points, so it wasn't really that far off. But you're a bottom feeder right now in terms of offensive, what you're doing offensively. We got to make a change because Cowboys probably going to score close to 30.
And not only that, but Washington always used to be that team where if something wasn't going right in our division, we knew that we had them coming up and we could handle them. And now that's gone.
Oh,
but
yeah,
now
but now, we are now the get right team, right? We are now the get right game.
Yep. And not only that, though, but I will say this: last year, Dable and Joe Shane were throwing a lifeline. Now, if this trend continues, there's nothing that's saving them. I know it's way too early for me to start talking about a coach's job and a GM's job. It's way too early for that. But you have to at least put that out there saying, if this trend continues, and again, these first 8 games is murder's row. This is not going to be pretty. I jokingly said before, I'm a realist, but I've been a realist since the schedule came out. I said, this is the worst schedule in the NFL. When you're a team that already, like that last year was a 3-win team, and everybody's already picking them to be a lower level team in the NFL, and you're playing all these teams in the first 8 games.
That's rough, bro.
Yeah, you're not setting yourself up for success whatsoever.
In order to overcome the schedule, we have to do what JC was talking about, and that is play beyond our capability, what appears to be our level of capability at this point.
The ball bounced our way so many times in 2022, and it hasn't bounced our way since. And that's just simply the way it is. Again, we will see.
But that means we have to win games legitimately. We have to win games on the field with the play that we have, and we haven't been able to do it.
And we haven't been able to do it, and it's going to be very interesting to see not whether we win or lose on Sunday, but how we win or lose on Sunday. You can't come out and play the way you did against Washington. It just doesn't work. Sure. Gentlemen, let's do this again next week, and hopefully we'll be in better spirits. There'll be a little bit less profanity, and JC won't be like ready to to tackle everybody in that mode. He'll tackle us verbally with happiness instead of sadness.
A verbal tackle out of happiness. How about
That's a great. It's a great line that came out by mistake. For Ryan Darlington, the man Jonathan Casillas, I'm Randy Zellea. We'll see you next time here on the Big Blue Report. Go Big Blue, and pray. We'll see you next week.